Alright guys, welcome to part 3 of X-Men Rebuild, Refurbish, Repair, Restore, whatever you want to call it. So, let's take a look at my blown out, glued up spot here. So right there, you see the black that's cracked is where the wood broke out. You can see here where the slot is. I'm going to have to clean that up so it's even. And then this will have to be filled with Bondo, sanded smooth. So I have to take care of that yet. Sort of sanded this side a little bit. It's pretty smooth. But I think I'm going to go over it with the mouse sander one more time. So then I'm going to have to go through here on the top side. Any little glue that might be in there, I'm going to have to pick it out. Try to get it as clean as possible. So I went and got a sheet of plywood, or this particle board, whatever you want to call it. An 4x8 sheet. I had it broke down in half so I could get it in my vehicle. I got some 3/4 inch plywood here to do the bracing with in the bottom. And I got me a 2x4 here to do some deadwood bracing. So what I plan to do, guys, is I need 27 3/4 and 31 inches for a new front panel. Since I'm out here by myself and I'm going to be using a 4-foot by 4-foot piece, I'm probably just going to set my table at 32 inches. So I can shave down one of them 4x4 pieces so it's a little bit more to manage. I might get it cocked a little bit coming through the saw. So I'll break it down a little bit so it's easier for me to handle by myself. And then I'll cut it down to the exact size. A little bit of waste of wood, but you know what? It's even bigger waste when you're cutting to exact size by yourself, handling a large piece of wood, and you bung it up. Just my opinion. Alright guys, so I'm going to kind of explain what's going on here. So I got my 31 inches and my 27 3/4. Now, this was the top of the cabinet. It was uncut by the guy that modified the door. So from here to here and here to here is the same, measurement wise. So that means this is square going across here. To me, that's what it means. So I'm just making sure this is flush all the way across here, because this piece of wood under here will be my new top. So what I did is I measured from this center to out here, and from this center to the outside. I mean, I had to kind of eyeball it across the tape measure. I mean, it's within a 1/16 of being centered. Good enough for me. So I have it clamped down now. I have a hole drilled. So now I need to put this bit through the new piece to run on this as a trace. So I'm going to have to flip this over. And when I flip this over, and being it's on my saw tabletop, I'm going to have to make sure that I have a, something underneath there to keep it propped up off. Sort of like that. Just to be 100% sure that I'm not running this into the top of the table. Just a little bit of insurance, if you will. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to flip this over so I can come through the top of the new wood and then use this as my pattern. So I got it flipped over. I got clearance everywhere. You can see the holes that I'm going to start into. And you kind of see how I drilled the holes more in the center of the pattern. That's because when a drill bit goes through this crap, it breaks out. So I did it in the middle, so if it broke out, if I would have ran it right next to the edge and it broke out, it could broke out somewhere where, you know, you're going to see it. Now you're not going to. That's the reason I did it that way. Alright guys, so just cut out this first door hole. So we're on to making a new Konami front. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. Alright guys, it's just that easy. So let's take a look at the door as if we're looking at it from the front. And looks pretty good. Quite happy. Alright guys, so I did measure from here and here and here and here. And this is a fat 1/16 wider right here. So it's not perfectly centered, but it's off by a fat 1/16. Not quite an 1/8 and not quite a 1/16. Alright, what's going on here is I got a paint stick here, a paint roller, paint stir stick, whatever you want to call it. I took a sheet of 50 grit sandpaper, and what I did is I've wrapped around it. It's a heavy grit to remove material, so I'm sticking it up in this slot and working it back and forth, cleaning out all the glue and the other leftover particles from the other front plate that was in here. So I'm going to try to clean out these slots the best that I can. Do some little bit of Bondo work right here in that crack area in the black. And I'm going to do all the sanding, and then I'm still contemplating how I'm going to cut the dovetail or the tongue and the groove, the tongue part on the front door. I might use my router. It might work better than the table saw. I don't know. Still thinking about that, guys. Alright guys, sometimes you just have to get dirty. I mean, shit's everywhere. It's ridiculous. Alright guys, so I have that crack bondoed. I did a preliminary sanding across the front of this. Once that Bondo dries, I'm going to go ahead and sand it smooth. Should be good on the first shot. Going to run the mouse sander on here to make this as smooth as possible, especially down in here. I can't really get down in here with the orbital sander. So if you guys might notice something, I cut the lip off of this floor right here, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I got to looking at it and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have to dado like 2 inches of the bottom of that front panel. And that's going to make what's underneath here thin. And everybody's feet go right there, you know. One good swift kick down at the bottom of this overhang could crack it. So I thought I'll just cut this lip off so the whole solid sheet can slide over it. And then I'll just deadwood everything. And then I'm going to actually get some them 6-inch lag bolts like I used for NARC. And I'll recess the bottom and run them straight in here. They'll go down in here about 6 inches between the two deadwoods, so that are screwed and sandwiched together right here. So it's going to be plenty solid. I'll even tend to say it'll be more solid than it was from the factory. That's just my opinion, you know, because I did it, but it's not going to go anywhere. Whoop. So anyways, guys, Bondo's drying and finishing sanding. Then I'll be on again. Okay guys, so I got the Bondo nice and smooth. I got all these rails nice and smooth. The best I'm probably gonna get them. I'm gonna go ahead and blow all the dust out of here, out of the cracks and stuff. And right now I have the saw set up so I can cut my groove. That's not the groove, that's the tongue, right? The tongue part to go in the groove of the cabinet. So, well, wish me luck, because if it don't work, then I wasted this piece of wood. One more cut down the table saw.
Remember, explosive diarrhea is always intense, but intense diarrhea is not always explosive. Until we meet again!
Okay, guys, so I have a little bit of bad news. So when they say measure twice and cut once, that's what they mean. So I did make a mistake on this door. Or front, whatever you want to call it. So I'm working here on the second one. And as you can see, it's much more acceptable. See how nice. I wish it was this tight all the way, but it's not. Of course, I still have to squeeze, you know, the sides in with, you know, clamps. But I can't complain about that, guys. Is it really that bad? Not really. But anyways, I haven't cut the door holes in it yet because I kind of wish I would have done it with that, because it was a waste of time, because in the end it didn't fit right. So I think I'm going to pull this front back out and go ahead and cut the door fronts into it. And I'm going to cut my dead wood and all that so it's all ready to go. Put some glue in here, clamp it down, put my dead wood in, and then work on floor bracing. So I failed the first door. Okay guys, so I have this test fit in here. It looks great. I cut my dead wood. I got it laying here, so it's going to be on the opposite side to give you guys a little, like, you know, mental picture. This will just be in the corner on the other side. So that's 1 inch by 1 inch. I'm going to be using 1.5 inch staples. That should put my staple a 1/2 inch deep into this particle board. Damn it. It will be glued and stapled. So I'm going to pull this front door back out. And I'm going to go get me a little paintbrush so I can lightly paint some glue in there, because I don't want it squeegeeing out this crack right here, and then it's just something else I'll have to contend with, and I don't want that. So I'm going to kind of brush the glue in the groove of the side and on the tongue of this. I'll slide it back in, get it positioned, glue my I'll take some clamps and put across to draw the sides together tight onto this, and then I'll glue my dead wood in and staple it to the side and to this piece. And then I'm just probably going to leave it sit for a little while, and then I'll work on bracing the bottom on under here and inside this way, sort of like I did in ARC. I'm also going to run a solid piece across the back and re-put the T-nuts in that wood as well. Just stiffen things up a little bit. That makes sense. If not, will in a minute. Okay guys, so I got it glued. I got it slid back in. And I got it clamped Very tight seam. I mean, it is tight, and then it coasts away a little bit, but it's still pretty tight seam. This side happens to be a lot nicer. I mean, it is what it is, guys. I'm going to go ahead and glue the shit out of my dead wood and staple it in there. Probably leave this, well, I can still leave it clamped, right? And then just start working on this. I don't have to wait for it to dry if I got it clamped, right? I got that figured out. Alright, we'll see what's next. Alright, I got this up on some milk crates. I got all 4 of the feet pads knocked off. I'm just going to use solid strips here. Go across. I'm also going to run strips down the side between there to make like a box. It'll be up against this wood and stuff. I don't really need it, but I'm putting it there anyways. Got all the dead wood in. It's all stapled in. Piece down there in the bottom. I changed my plan a little bit, so I'm not gonna put the not gonna do what I was going to do, so that'll be good enough. It ain't gonna go anywhere once that glue dries. You'll have to smash it apart to get it to break apart. So I think I'm going to grind down this little bit of Bondo, and then I'm going to put my first coats on each side. I might work it. I might just be done with it. So I'll let you know in a few minutes. Alright guys, so I'm going to pretty much end this video right now. This is X-Men Part 3. I got the stuff bonded up somewhat. It's gobbed all over the place. I'll sand more off than stays on, but as you can see, I got the front door area in. It's pretty tight, looking pretty good. So I'm gonna work on the bottom of the cabinet in the next video. You know, get the feet stuff situated and bottoms straightened out. Then we'll go around the rest of the cabinet and straighten it out. Pack the T-molding grooves full of Bondo. Do the body work on the back of the cabinet and on the top of the cabinet and the speaker grill area. And that might be the next video. See how far we get. So like, subscribe, share, shit like that. I appreciate everybody watching. Alright, peace.